Hi everyone and welcome to another hashtag Ask Jim, and we're up to episode 37, so I'm hoping we can make 50. And a big thanks to Jake, who was our producer, and Ben for holding the fort whilst away. I'm sure. How did Jake go as a host in my absence? I did watch one or two.
Oh, it's a bit better looking than you, but that's not hard to say. Not hard
to
achieve.
Not hard at all. And but the height parity tonight might be a bit dissimilar. We're about the same. Jake's a fairly big unit, but big thanks to Jake for holding the fort. He done a great job, and for Ben as well for holding it there. Now, what we're going to do is a bit of housekeeping again, just to remind people about some things and some initiative that's going on within Jim's group at the moment. And as always, we've got 3 books to give away. So Buyer History, Every Customer a Fan, and Jim's book. You can also get Every Customer a Fan and Buyer History via jims.net. And you can also get the free audiobook versions of them, which is great. And we encourage you to do that. Now, we've also started a campaign this week, which was in one of the newsletters, but we've put a few submissions forward online today with Teresa Mackenzie and from Nigel Cock. And that was for the Thanks to Jims. So we want to do a bit of a campaign where it's thanks to Jims, and franchisees or franchisors would submit to us a video or photo and maybe a paragraph, and we've posted a couple of them.
How's that coming?
Well, I posted 2. So one today from Teresa and one yesterday, I think, from Nigel. But we want more, and I've got Don McGuinness, whose idea it was. He's going to give me a video one, which should be great. So we just want a bit more. It can be a bit of anything. It can be a bit humorous as well. It doesn't have to be serious. If you're not comfortable with a video, the photo like Nigel and Teresa did is perfect. Just give us a paragraph. It's thanks to Jim's, I have this, or I can see my kids now. I can pick up my kids, or I have this great home, or whatever it is. It can be humorous as well. So get that into us at video@jims.net. And that'd be great. And also, we have a list of Jim's audiobooks that he's listened to over the last couple of months, which I've made available on jims.net under the news section and also on the Facebook page. We always get asked, and Jim gets asked, what's his recommendation of audiobooks? And he's given a list of around, I think, 12, with a bit of a commentary as well next to him. So
yes, bearing in mind my taste isn't always the popular taste. So
but some definitely interesting ones. There's 1 or 2 in there, like the Malcolm Gladwell one, which was I like Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah, the 10,000 hours thing. That
yes.
To be good at something, you want to practice 10,000 hours. It gives wonderful examples.
Definitely. And if you want Jim to maybe do a regular video every fortnight or something about what audiobook he's reading or recommendations about it, maybe Jim's book club or something, I think it'd be great to encourage people to listen to something. But maybe let us in the comments know, or what you're listening to, put it in there. Now, Sal John has already tuned in, so hi to Sal. And g'day to Caleb. And David McDonald saying, welcome back, Joel. Tell us something funny, what happened to you when you were away. When I was away, something funny. Well, I was in Colombia, actually. I don't know if Colombia's a bit risky, and I don't know if you mean when I'm away at work or when I was away, but I was in Colombia and I got involved in I didn't get involved in it, but there's some pretty shady characters at the place I was at. Let's say narcos or cartel type people, and that was pretty sticky, and I got out of that one, but I won't go into it too much further on air, but happy to tell you offline.
I thought you were going to Peru.
I did go to Peru. So I went to Chile first, because all direct flights to Santiago, stayed there for a bit, then went to Peru for my friend's wedding in Cusco, which is near Machu Picchu, and then went up to Colombia.
Right up in the mountains.
Yeah, right up in the mountains. So Machu Picchu is a beautiful thing. You always see the photos on Facebook of people doing that traditional pose, but it doesn't do it justice. You've got to go there, and I recommend it. So thanks for that, David. I much appreciate it. Caleb tunes in and says the music is lit, guys. Thanks for that comment, Caleb. Eric Jurgens is tuned in saying, I hope Jim hasn't forgotten you, Joel. Yeah, he didn't recognise me when I come back because I had a bit of a beard. So I might have blended in. And Sal John saying, hey, guys, thanks for tuning in, Sal. Belinda Hadley, hi from Jim's Dog Wash. Belinda's a franchisor up in North Queensland. Thanks for tuning in. Owen Brandwood, thanks for putting a comment there, Owen. Hi from Jim's Dog Wash in Taree. Sal John saying, love the shirt. What do you reckon of the shirt, Jim? It's a bit old, 70s vibe, you reckon? Or what do you reckon? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
If you're asking me for fashion advice, you're up, back up.
All right, so thanks for all those comments and interaction, guys, on the feed so far. It's a great one tonight because this is just going to be Jim. We don't have a guest this week, and Jim's the main star of the show. It is hashtag Ask Jim. So make sure you leave any question or comment, and we're definitely going to read them as much as we can out tonight. It's a great one, actually. Ask Jim anything tonight. I know you love more of the more trickier ones, anything that on politics, news. There's a lot happening, so just chuck them in there, and you'll definitely get it answered tonight. So the more the better. Okay, next remembering that we do have a podcast called the Jim's Cast as well, which Jim talks about global warming. You talk about your faith. You talk about why you have a soccer team of kids. You talk about a lot of other things as well, so make sure you check that out on jims.net. And we also have Ask Jim question and answer box on the jims.net website, which does get used. So if you want to stay anonymous, you can put that in the comments, and I won't read your name.
Yeah, ask me anything.
Ask Jim anything, and he will answer it in this live platform. Now, let's get into it. Now, we've had submitted to just during the week. We had a new division, Jim's motorbike racing. Now, someone has submitted to us, if you can see on screen, a motorbike. I'm just showing Jim now the picture. a motorbike in the Jim's Mowing colourway, and you can see it there with Jim's head on it, and it's labelled Jim's Racing. So we might see that hooning around a track very soon. Maybe a potential new division, or maybe you don't know.
There's a football team that's asked us to put their our logo on their jerseys.
Yes.
It's not sponsorship, but they just want to put them on. So I said,
you approve that? Yeah, that's great. And if you do have a social team or sporting team, we do. If you want to make Jim's shirts up, we actually had a massive order during the week for Jim's t-shirts.
Do we?
And we had Denise in our office call them up and say, just out of interest, what do you want all these shirts for? Because we didn't know what they wanted to do. And they were, I think, a local indoor football team.
Yeah.
Indoor soccer team. So,
stuff.
If you've got something like that, please let us know and send us a photo. Now, this other one as well is, we had this submitted to us, some t-shirts made. They asked for permission and we gave it to them. Now, Jim's Mint Bussies. So, Mint is the name of the nightclub, which I think is in Werribee. And a bussie. Do you know what a bussie is, Jim?
No idea.
So, a bussie is like a glassy. So, their job is to basically go around a nightclub and all the empty glasses they pick up and take it back and wash them. And they just do general duties. So, the nightclub bus boys got together and wanted to have a Jim's branded t-shirt. So,
I'm not sure how appropriate that is, since I've never been inside a nightclub, but great.
Well, you got close. You got close into a nightclub when you thought it was a UN meeting.
I poked my head around the door. Yeah,
that's it. You got close. So those blokes in there going around picking up the glassies in Werribee with Jim's Mint Bussies. You asked their permission. They've got that on there now, which is great. So during the week, we had Derek Spice, who's one of our Jim's Mowing franchisees over in WA. He sent us a few suggestions about Ask Jim and the formats and feedback, which is awesome, and we encourage that. And we're going to implement one of them now. So I had, and one of his suggestions was about maybe reading out a couple of 5-star reviews or some of the comments that we've received, as you said, hundreds of them every week or more than that.
Yes.
Thousands of reviews every year, positive 5-star reviews. And we're going to try and pick a couple of them out and put a lot more on our socials. And just, it's great. It's great to hear all the work and the great customer service that our blokes are giving, and ladies. So I'll read one of them out now. So this was submitted to us by Brett Blair from one of his Jim's Pool Care franchisees, which was Adrian. And this is from Pete B, who's a customer up in Brisbane. And he wrote about Adrian. Adrian was not only on the spot of within a couple of hours, but then he backed up his promptness with the friendliest and most customer service orientated professionalism we have ever had by a tradesperson to do a house call with us.
That's nice.
Which is great, and that's an awesome comment, and there is thousands of those. So we're going to try and feature a couple of those every week, and that was a great suggestion by Derek Spice. And even we're going to try and work something up to star ratings, maybe who's had the most 5-star ratings in the last month period or something like that, and maybe giving them a bit of a shout out on air. So that's a great suggestion, and we thank you for that one, Derek, as well. And also, we're going to run up on the screen now some anniversaries. Now, for people who don't know, we do communicate it, I think, in the newsletter a bit, but you personally would call?
Not in the newsletter,
okay.
but I ring them. When anybody gets 10, 15, 20, 25 years, I give them a call.
Yes, and at the moment, Jake is going to put up on the screen, he's putting up all the 1-year guys, the 5-year guys, 10-year, and we've had, in the last week, we've had 10, 15 years. We haven't had any 25, 20 years in the last 20 days, I don't think, or have you made those calls?
I spoke to a 25-year guy. He was actually, I think he was the 4th or 3rd or 4th longest gyms with us.
Really?
25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what do you get out of those phone calls? Do you get many ideas, or is it just sort of nice to have a chat? Or?
Oh, it's wonderful, actually.
Yeah.
Mostly they're very positive. One guy wasn't very friendly. Generally speaking, it's a great call. You know, they've done well, and people talking about, like this guy I think I mentioned last week, you know, working 4 days a week, knocking off at 12 and having a great lifestyle.
Knocking off at 12?
Knocked off at 12 every day, because he lives in Queensland. He
right.
says it gets too hot after that.
Yeah.
And he's charging $200 an hour. He's got a team of 2 guys that go with him, and he just turns up and you know, he's got multiple houses in the same street because of, 10 years of operation, and he also does lots and lots of extra jobs for every client. So he turns up there and he's hundreds and hundreds of dollars in one spot.
Wow, it's not a bad deal at all. That's great. 131546 if you want to come along. And Jake's just showing them up all on the screen. So since the 1st of October, thanks to Denise in our office who gave me this stat, we've had 62 new franchisees start since October 1st. And we've got another 7, 8 days to go. So hopefully some more can start along. Yep. I'm just going to read out real quickly the 10-year guys and 10 to 15-year ones. So Aaron Creswell from Jim's Mowing in Mudgerbara, who's 10 years. Michael Carkeet, John Jago, Laurie Dolan, Michael Gitsham, Keith Thurston Moon, Boris Vega, and Mick Manning, who have all been with us for 10 to 15 years within Jim's Mowing division. I think there was a Jim's fencing guy maybe in there as well. But that's an awesome achievement. 10 to 15 years in business is awesome, and We also showed up on screen the first year people because I think it's important to recognise first year in business because you can emphasise with them how tough maybe that first year in business was, but with gyms they had that better chance of success. I can't remember. Do you remember the statistic for the first year failure rate? Let's say for mowing.
Well, according to the American Cleaning Janitorial Service Association, 95% of cleaning businesses fail in their first year, which is about the nearest I can get to official statistics about independence. With us, the first year loss is 11% on average.
Yeah, so it's
quite a difference.
Yeah.
It's too high. It's much too high.
Yeah.
But then not everybody, those people have failed. Some of them go independent. Some of them get a great job offer and sell their business. But we lose 11% in the first year.
And we had a lot of them up on the screen. I think Jake showed a lot of people that went for around a minute. So that's great to see all the anniversaries of franchise owners and business owners doing some really great things. So we appreciate it. And if you did see someone's name, smash that like button. Thanks for that, Derek, for that phrase. Smash the like button or the share button and let them know that they're on. All right, so we're going to run through some questions here now. They've come flooding in, which is awesome, and I appreciate it. Okay, so Michael J. Ribbons has gone, what research have you currently been finding, Jim? And what reasons have you target such research? So what are you currently, I guess, looking for and finding out in your research so far? And what have you been targeting? What areas?
The thing we're about to do is we've been doing experiments with rats, which is an implication from my theory about society, that they're strongly affected by pheromones. And so we've been identifying certain pheromones which have make animals more like the food restrictor, which in animal terms is healthy. They're better mothers, they're more hardworking, they're more long-term thinking and so forth. And so what we're actually doing is we've identified, we know the urine of those rats actually makes other rats behave in a better way in these terms. But what we've actually done is identified some of the pheromones that are in the urine, and we're actually testing them out directly to see whether they have the same effect. And if they do, it'll be quite a dramatic finding.
Now, how are those tests going so far? Is there any early findings from those tests? Or
no. We're just about to start this. This has been going on for a while to see what we can do it.
Right, and if you get approval for it, I remember you saying you wanted to be a part of the first human trial.
Yeah, I've asked them actually. They said they don't want to put my health at risk by trying something that hasn't been tried in animals. I don't mind to. I'm sure I'll be okay. They seem to be reluctant to let me get my hands on it myself. But hopefully very soon.
Thanks for that question, Michael. That's a great question. We're going to run through as many questions and comments as we can. As we got Jim here tonight, it's a Jim extravaganza with questions, so we're going to get through as many as we can. Rena's gone here. So Joel, I hear you're opening a Jim's alpaca wash in Peru. Will the same trailers as dog wash be used, or will you redesign them? I think you have to redesign them for the next year.
Get an alpaca into a dog wash trailer, hard to fit.
Yeah, it might be a bit of trouble, but I know there's people who
I own some alpacas actually, and
don't you?
They're big. They're very good. They look after the sheep.
Yeah.
Don't have any trouble. There's wild dogs around my farm, but the dogs don't want to get anywhere near the sheep because the alpacas protect them. They're good. They're good animals.
They've got great fur too. They make some great jumpers.
One of them's pregnant too. We had a pregnant alpaca.
You have a little baby alpaca, right?
Yeah, it'll be fun.
You have to send us a photo of that. Okay, so we've got another couple of comments from the other feeds here. So remember, we do cross post. So if you want to get your question read in real time, best chances on the Jim's Group live feed. But Jake will scan the other pages and send them through. Hader Hussein's gone, hi guys, thanks to Jim's, I can enjoy my business from my banana lounge in Cyprus.
That's right.
Just rubbing it in. We love a photo of that, Hader, and we can post that up there. It'd be great.
Not as good as my farm though. Sorry, Hader. I wouldn't swap your villa on the sea in Cyprus. No, I love my farm.
Ah, there you go. I reckon
beautiful up there this weather, especially in the spring.
I'd be happy to swap any time, Hader.
I mean, digging up huge potato mounds. It's really fun. I just like to get out and dig potatoes and stuff.
Well, it's actually ripping weather today. Actually, probably maybe rival. Maybe the Cyprus weather today was pretty good.
I was up there last night. Actually, I was planting seed potatoes, in some of the new rows that I've dug.
Yeah.
And I was carting aged manure around too. Great fun.
That's great. Good exercise too as well.
Yeah.
Then Josh Hurst has gone in with a question, and this is pretty appropriate, and this is a direct one. This is a great one actually. Hey guys, I got an email regarding Jim's insurance, and it stated they're competitive in price, but by far Jim's insurance is the most expensive when it comes to excess. What I'm trying to ask is what is getting done about proving the Jim's insurance, mainly the excess price? So I know different divisions have different excesses, so maybe just put in there.
Cleaning is the worst one because cleaning claims have been horrible. They're really, really bad. We've actually noticed since the excess has gone up to 1,000, the claims have dropped away dramatically. But most divisions aren't too bad. I know Mowing's only 500. They tried to put it up to 1,000. We made a big stink and they brought it down again. look, what can you do? The problem is the way the underwriters look at it. They look at how many claims they're paying out, and they look at the money that's coming in. And if the claims are getting to be more than the premiums, they put the price up or put the excess up.
Yeah, I don't know what you're putting in there for your division. Maybe put your division in there as well, Josh. Might be a bit more specific to answer. But
I know one lady was complaining bitterly. She said, our policy was like over 1,000, and she can get something for 350. So I actually said, can you send me the policies? And she's getting accident policy as well. So she's comparing a public risk policy with a public risk plus accident.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising it costs a bit more.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it's from knowing from my time in there. The problem we have is we treat it as a group, right? So if you have, let's say, for example, 1,500 mowing guys, they all get clumped in as one. So you might have a guy who's had 4 claims and a guy who's had 0 claims, and they'll be paying the same excess.
Well, last week we had a suggestion that we actually charge new people a little bit more, and then as they don't get claims, we take the amount down. So during the week, Yadrin's been talking to the insurance underwriters to try and get them to agree to something like this.
And that's very revolutionary, because generally what they do is they treat you as one total entity, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you offset the risk. If someone's had, let's say, 6 claims, he'll pay the same as the guy who's had 0 claims, and then the premium might go up, and that's not fair to the guy who's had 0 claims.
Well, what we're saying to them is that it's actually good, because what it does is encourage franchisees not to claim if it's just over 500, because they don't want to lose their no claim bonus. They want to see their premiums come down.
Yeah.
So we're saying this is the way of rewarding good behavior and hopefully getting the overall claims under control.
And that's something that you've been in discussion with at the moment, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've been talking with them during the week. So that came up last week in Ask Jim. So
yeah, well, I think we had another question last week about the workers' comp insurance. Is there any movement on the workers' comp insurance at all since last week?
No, that's basically state government control.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about it. There's only some areas like the ACT where they do it private.
Okay. So thanks for that question. That was a really good one, Josh. And that's an awesome question. Warwick Petering's here gone, the good-looking rooster is back. No, definitely not the good-looking rooster. Jake and Jim by far. Okay, so let's get to another question here. Are you going to start Jim's gutter cleaning? From Jared Bywaters, who is a Jim's Mowing franchisee.
We've been thinking about it because there's so many gutter clearing jobs unserviced. Obviously, we're not going to break territory rights. Mowing guys will always have the right to do these jobs and have their territory respected. But, we think actually promoting to somebody, because if you're going gutter cleaning, you don't need an expensive trailer, and there's plenty of work and it's very good money. So we are looking at that, yeah. Yeah,
and it's something you can put yourself down for. I know it's pretty popular.
Yeah, I keep on. So many franchisees I told us, you got these little gadgets too. It costs about $7,000, and they've got this little camera, and you can put it up there, and you can clean the gutters from the ground and see whether they're clear. It's incredibly good money. I mean, you can make hundreds of dollars an hour clearing gutters, and it's not difficult. And you can build a regular client base because you go back there once or sometimes twice a year to do it. It's an absolutely brilliant job. It really bugs me that one of the most valuable jobs that we can possibly do. We lose thousands of jobs a year because people just don't do this kind of stuff.
So there's nothing stopping Jared from just putting himself down for that, I guess, and turning or adjusting.
If you're a mowing franchisee, absolutely do that. Contact me and I'll talk to you about it. You can even do things like if you can just take your mowing jobs from your local area, but gutter jobs from a much wider area. There's ways of doing that. I can set it up on the system so that you get, and then we can show you the harnesses and machinery to do this and these gadgets and stuff. It's a fantastic job.
Yeah, I thought you were saying for some of maybe older gentlemen. Was an older gentleman who you suggested to do that?
I don't know what happened actually, but he was just doing gutter clearing only, and it was fantastic. He was making like $1,000 a day, and,
really?
and having and he couldn't cope with the vibration of the mower,
right?
Which was because he was getting to that age. But then he started doing gutters, and he said it was great. And
Josh Hurst has tuned in and said again, cleaning. So he was from the cleaning division, Josh, which raised the insurance point.
It has got a problem, Josh. There's no doubt about it. I've asked Yadrin to send all the cleaning claims to Haydar so they can look at what's happening. But the claims are horrible. They're worse than any other division.
But cleaning's great because they took action last time and developed their own pretty much chemicals out of the insurance claims.
Yes, because they were getting a lot of claims because they were ruining services.
So they went and made their own enzyme, the enzyme based in these really nice organic sort of cleaning to stop that. And I know that it did reduce that.
And then they made this thing that if you use the wrong chemicals,
they pay a higher excess,
$5,000 excess, and that actually encouraged them to use the right stuff. It doesn't have to be the stuff that Jim's cleaning sells, but it just has to be something that doesn't wreck the surface. Because you put the wrong chemicals on like that, you've destroyed a marble bench top. That's a big claim.
It's a massive claim. But they're all over it, so hopefully it's they'll have a resolution really soon. And David Rumps have tuned in and gone, hi, Dave Rump from Jim's Dog Wash in Western New South Wales. So thanks to Dave and the Dog Wash crew for tuning in. Jason Pollock, who's a Jim's Pool Care franchisor, has made a comment here regarding insurance. I know insurance can be expensive, but I will say that Jim's public liability team service is outstanding. I unfortunately had to make my first claim this week, and it was improved within 3 hours. Can't ask for better service than that. And he says, welcome back, Joel. So thanks for that, Jason. And that's great. 3 hours he had his claim approved. So I know they've got claims authority.
Yes.
They've got claims authority up to a certain level.
So for things like tools, we can get it back on the road within 24 hours if it's a normal claim. So that kind of thing matters too, and being able to get a response. Because the other thing too is we always have this problem with comparisons. But you know, if you're a mowing contractor and you want to get public risk insurance, I can get it for this, and Jim's going to charge me that. But it covers you for mowing, but not for gardening, not for gutter clearing, not for tree, nothing else. So if you actually have a problem and you get stuck with a $100,000 lawsuit, your insurance doesn't cover it. Now, maybe you save $20, but is that really enough to justify the risk?
Yeah, it's a great point, Jim. The general agreement we have with the underwriters is it's what the services are in the franchise schedule, but they do take into account that cross-divisional stuff sometimes and outside of that.
To some extent, you've got to know what you're doing.
You've got to be qualified.
If you do a completely different product, you better have insurance to cover it.
Correct.
But one of the things we always ask people is if you've got a better deal, send us the policy. Don't just say, oh, it's a better deal. What does the policy actually say? What does it cover you for?
That's right. Yeah, they do get the better price, and then you find that they're not covered for that much at all. So that's a good point. And thanks to that one as well, that Jason. That's awesome to hear. And they do have that claims authority, which is great. You're right. The quickest claims, less than 3 hours, you had it approved and paid, which is unheard of. Jared Bywaters has gone, I'll be the first gutter cleaning dude. I can't fit it in. Well, maybe for Jared, how would you advise Jared? He loves the gutter cleaning, but he's probably flat out at the moment. What would you say? Adjust some clients, or maybe
put a worker on?
Put a worker on.
What's your hourly rate anyway? I mean, put a worker on. It's not that difficult to do.
Yeah.
Just take somebody on. There's so much work on it. With spring, it's painful. We are losing thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs. It really hurts. I hate it. So put a worker on, Jared. Take some more work from us, please. Look after the clients. And
you can also email Jim at jims.net as well, Jared, if you need some advice regarding that. Obviously, your franchisor as well. I know you've got a great franchisor.
Anybody who's tried to contact me knows I'm incredibly easy to get in contact with. And it's very helpful. I learn a lot of stuff from talking to franchisees.
Well, I put a video up today saying one of the benefits, obviously we have info packs for becoming a new franchisee, but the benefit we don't put is one-on-one business coaching with you, which is seriously part of the pack.
Anybody else wants business coaching, it's going to cost them $1,000 an hour.
There you go,
guys. All part of the package.
And that rate's doubled as well from the video. I think we said $500. Thanks to everyone who's tuning in. Leave a comment or smash the like button or a share. Let us know you're here. I'm getting to as many questions as I can. There's a lot of coming through, which is awesome. So Matthew Dwyer has gone, does Jim's provide any training on working at heights? Harness use for the gutter cleaning?
Yeah, you get that from the people who sell the harnesses. They do that quite well.
Okay, so
you got to go to your franchisor will tell you where you get this stuff from. You go there, you get the harness. They'll show you how to use it safely. It's all a matter of attachments.
Okay, that's a great question.
Like throwing the rope over the house and stuff, and then I know different from the old days, but still.
Oh yeah. What happened in the old days?
Well, you just get up on the roof. That's all. You put your foot in the gutters and just do it.
You never had any trouble when you're up there?
No, I had some. Not from gutters. I had a few close shaves when I was mowing lawns.
Yeah,
I did some stupid things, but.
Well, what was one of the close shaves then? Maybe obviously don't do this at home. Disclaimer, but
the worst thing I ever did was I had a it was in my own yard actually. I had a big willow tree and I just got a chainsaw and started chopping it down, just like that. My chainsaw got stuck and I went to get an arborist and it actually fell over. Jeez, I could have killed myself with that one.
Oh really? So the chainsaw was stuck and then you went to get someone and it actually fell over in the meantime?
Yeah. He turned up to have a look and he's already fallen over.
Oh gee whiz.
That was a really stupid thing to do. This giant tree. I don't know, look back on the stuff you do when you were younger, it's just lunatic.
Well, so you don't recommend that. So Jared Bywater has gone with a follow-up question saying, if someone wants to expand their business to other areas outside their region, can you buy another franchise in another region?
Yes, of course you can. But generally speaking, you don't need to because Jared's mowing, isn't he?
Jared's mowing, yeah. He's a mowing franchise.
Just put yourself down for work, Jared. The only reason you might want to do that is because I know that we had one franchisee who was on the Sunshine Coast. This is John and Sharon Hazabella. And they knew there's a whole lot of work available in Brisbane, surplus work. So we actually arranged for them to transfer their franchise to Brisbane, so they could get first crack at all the unserviced leads. But they've got a whole stack of people working for them.
Yeah, they've got a massive business, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know what they're making, hundreds of thousands, $1 million a year. I don't know.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah,
and they do a good job actually. So that's if you're in a region, you get priority of jobs in that region. So from that point of view, it's useful. But you'd have to have a very, very big operation to make that worthwhile.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not usually normal to have more than one franchise, simply because there's no limit to what you can get from your own franchise. And when you've got thousands and thousands of unserviced leads, well, why pay more fees?
That's true, actually, because you would pay double fees, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So let us know if you've got a franchise, if you actually have an employee, maybe with some subbies in there, Jared, and maybe Jim can advise some more.
Just email me, Jared, if you want to talk about this, jim@jims.net, and we'll go through some of the options. I'll have a look at what's available in your area and, how much work there is and what other areas have got jobs around, where there's the most unserviced leads. I can give you all that sort of stuff. I can get it and send it through to you.
Definitely take him up on that advice. Michael Edwards is a franchisor, has put a nice comment in here on one of the other feeds, which is great. I just wanted to say, as a franchisor who has a goal of being a divisional, he has a goal of being a divisional, which is awesome. I'm so grateful to Jim's that I can determine my life. I'm stepping back a little and found that the way to do it without leaving the brand. That's awesome, Michael. Maybe if you send us a photo or put that on video, that'd be awesome if we could use that as well. But thanks for taking the time to put that comment in there. And Jim's Dog Wash and Grooming says, welcome back, Joel. Thanks for that. I presume that's Sharon leaving that comment, so I appreciate that, Sharon. I got back in one piece. There was a couple of times when I didn't think I would. Okay, so I'll get to some more questions.
Well, when you spend your holiday hobnobbing with drug lords and stuff.
Well, I didn't mean to intentionally. It's a bit more behind the story, but some of the people in the office know about it. But Graham Moore's gone here, hi from Jim's Dog Wash Tyree. So thanks there for tuning in. And Sharon Connell's gone, hi Jim and Joel. So hi Sharon, and thanks for tuning in. I think we've got another Jim's Dog Wash info live Q&A coming up really soon, and it's a great thing if you're interested.
It worked quite well.
It did, generated some interest, and I think it's the best version of an info pack. We can put things in writing, make it as glossy as you want, but live Q&A, existing franchise owners, you can ask them whatever you want in real time.
Good stuff. Good
stuff. And thanks for that, Sharon. Derek Spice has gone, any chance of the evil laugh, Jim? Joel loves it, question mark. That's it from Derek.
You want the evil laugh? You think so? You think they can handle it?
Yeah.
All right.
There you go, Derek.
Excellent.
There we go. We'll have to make another GIF of that one. Gee whiz, they keep getting better and better. So thanks for that one, Derek. There you go. That's just for you, Derek. Only for you.
Just for you, Derek.
Exactly right. So Matthew Dwyer.
Derek gives us a lot of good ideas.
He does. He gives us a lot of great ideas. Matthew Dwyer's gone, awesome. Thank you. Definitely want to focus a lot on the unserviced gutter work. P.S. I start as Jim's Mowing Yalambee on the 6th of November. So this is a guy I know he's just about to start as a Jim's Mowing franchisee on the 6th of November.
Yes. It's Yalambee. That's Yalambee. That's Melbourne, isn't it? McLeod area?
I think so. I'm not too sure. Maybe let us know, Matthew.
Well, it's a hard spring. I don't know whether you have time to scratch yourself. It's hard to get meetings going in spring because the guys are all working till dark. It's so busy.
That's exactly right. That's welcome aboard, man. That's awesome to hear that November 6th is your start date.
It is good. It is good. You're hit to go. Just don't expect it to be always like this. It'll be so busy when you start. So you've got to boot up your regular client base so that when it quietens down a bit after Christmas, then you'll still have enough work to do. Yeah. So I guess in one way too, it's important when you start during the spring to make sure that you get, if you don't just take something like gutters, you get your mowing business really up and running well. Because if you've got good regular mowing clients, or regular any clients, of course, dog wash, cleaning, then you can actually upsell to other things during the off season.
That's awesome, and thanks for that comment, man. Good luck when you start, and let us know how you're going, and hopefully tune in again.
Don't forget to answer my 1 month letter after you start. 1 month, I'm going to send you an email. I want you to get back to me. I really I love those emails. I really do. I get a few every day. It's great.
So there are people are responding to you every day with that one.
I think most people do respond. Actually, I think they must. And then I just look up and congratulate them on their great star ratings, which is usually what's happened. They've got some great ratings, and if they've done any paperwork guarantee, I congratulate them on that. And sometimes I give a bit of advice about certain things they might have a hassle with. But yeah, it's a good part of my job.
So make sure you get back that one, Matthew, and good luck. Okay, so people are tuning in, which is great. Let us know you're here with the comment question. It's a great one for a question. We're ripping through a lot of questions. We still got a while to go yet, so there's some more questions which we're going to get to in a minute. But just if you want a comment or question, leave it in there. It's great because it's just a gym only special tonight, and we'll get to as many as we can. So Eric Jurgens is going here. Jim, have you thought about adding a package to the training specifically aimed at first contact phone calls from a gym's lead? I know that some people have a lot of trouble talking to people at that first call. I've been helping my wife out and have a 95% booking rate at the moment while she is having a lot of trouble.
Yes.
That's interesting.
I'm not sure what they teach you in the it's more the conversion rate. Usually if you bring somebody you can get a quote. It's actually converting that quote into a job that's the issue. I'll have a talk to Mike about what they're doing in the upfront course. Look, if you've got, Eric, if there's something that you weren't taught during training, just let me know exactly what you'd like.
Oh, that's for his partner, Ricky. So Ricky's gym's dog wash, Eric's mobile cafe. So Eric's saying that when I've taken over doing it, I'm actually converting at 95% when his partner was having a bit of trouble. So maybe he's saying, is there a service or something where people can maybe, if they're not confident having that interaction, I guess, with the client, someone can do it for them, I guess, maybe
a video of some kind.
Yeah,
find somebody who converts very well and that's what they do.
Yeah,
that's probably the best thing I could think of.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know whether I'm the best person to say that. I mean, obviously my conversion rate was pretty good with clients, but that was mostly just pretty basic stuff like returning phone calls fast, getting there when I said they would, and just speed as much as anything else.
And I know that Ricky's got a great franchisor in Kate, so definitely use them and maybe do some simulation training. I know that we had
this is Eric Mobile Coffee.
This is Mobile Coffee, yeah, but this is his wife, Ricky, who does Jim's dog wash.
And she's having trouble.
Yes.
And she's done the training?
Ricky's been through the training, yes.
Yeah. But what your conversion rate is actually, 95% is incredibly high. A more normal response would be something like 75%.
Mm.
I mean, I don't expect all leads to turn into jobs. If they do, you're probably too cheap. That can affect things too.
I don't know, maybe, I know we've had Jim's building inspections, they run simulations for their guys in terms of they have external people actually run simulations about helping them increase their conversion rate over the phone. So maybe there's some practice or something, I don't know. What would you suggest maybe?
Well, building inspections is a very well-run division. They're very professional, remarkably successful in what they do. So, but they do differ a lot too. Of course, between washing a dog and a building inspection, you don't quite approach the client in the same way. I mean, with dog washing, it's got to do with the relationship, how you get on with the dog, for example.
But I think there may be some specific issues with the first contact to the client. So when I get the lead, they're calling the client. It'd
be interesting to know your partner what her conversion rate actually is and what she's charging and so forth, things like that.
Do you know that? Maybe Eric put in the comments, what is the conversion rate for Ricky on her leads? Because obviously you're converting him at 95%, which is well above the average.
But it might just be the nature of the business that you're in, whereas dog wash is a bit more competitive. You mightn't expect to get quite the same return.
No, I think he's converting at 95% for Ricky when he does the call. So he's calling up the dog wash client and actually converting at 95%.
Oh, converting the dog wash to a quote, though.
Yeah, to a quote, to actually go out there and do a quote request, yeah.
I would say that's pretty normal, really, because it's getting a job you might get 75%, but actually getting in front of the client to give a quote, unless you're not calling them back promptly enough. Often the speed of response is the big thing too. I don't know, that's the one factor that we've found has a huge impact. If you ring back within 5 minutes, you're going to get a very different response than if you wait half an hour or an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that's everything that I've been told. Like people who have troubles converting online leads, which is a classic problem, and you get them to respond within a couple of minutes to the lead, and their conversion rate leaps through the roof because they haven't got anybody else.
I'm sure there's a lot of things that can be done to maybe help out there.
So it's hard to know what the issue is.
Yeah.
Is it the way is it the speed of response? Is she saying it? Is she too tentative? I mean, it's always good to expect that people are going to do what you want. So if you're ringing somebody back for a job, you wouldn't say, "Is it okay if I come around and give a quote?" Because you want to assume. You say, "Look, when would it suit you for me to come and see your dog? Would this afternoon be okay? Would you prefer tomorrow morning?" It's it's a bit like any salesperson tell you it's posing the minor question. You know, okay, you want a car? Which one would you like? Would you like this car or that car, or this time or that time? You offer two options. If they make either decision, they've agreed to you doing it.
Yeah.
So it's things of that nature. It's how you approach it. Often it's just confidence too. I know that when Evelyn was approaching people with for Jim's Plus, which is where we pass out in surplus jobs to independents, and then we put the price up of the lead because it has to be at least what our franchisees are paying, obviously. And she had a lot of problems with that at first, and then she got the confidence in the value, and then she had no more problems. So it was. Do you believe in what you're doing well enough? Do you believe your job is you're worth what you're charging?
Yeah.
That kind of issues.
Vocal tonality is important, and stuff like what Jim says, like, you know, try not to be too tentative, be really confident. But I think that'll just come with time, Eric. I guess it's obviously Ricky's new to the business as well, so maybe just take a bit of time. Any simulation, I guess you can do. If there's
also,
any practice,
friendliness, asking about their dog. I mean, it could be all kinds of reasons and stuff. Be interesting for Eric if you were to listen to what she says when she rings up. Just be there for the phone call and then look at the response. So we had a thing with the trailer factory where people would inquire, independents would inquire about a fiberglass dog wash trailer because we're the only factory that pretty well makes them these days, and they're great trailers, but they're quite expensive. You know, you're talking about $28,000 for an independent. And what was happening at one time is that somebody would inquire and they just get sent the price list. Well, that's not much good. You've got to find out. You've got to talk to the person and find out what their business is and what it's like and what they're doing, and talk about the benefits and the features of the thing and how it works and what value you get and the air conditioning and the hot water heating and the whole box and dice. You can't just throw a price at them. So we were getting very poor response by just giving a price. But if you actually talk about the value, and it's the same thing with the gyms. In fencing, when the fencing division took off, we had somebody, the divisional guy called Warren Smith at that time, who actually, he talked about the 10 different reasons for using gyms. Why would you pay more for gyms? And we're charging like 50% more for the labor charge. But explain why. You know, it's got a guarantee. If something goes wrong with your fence in 3 years' time, if it's poorly made, we'll replace it for free. Those kinds of things are fully covered with insurance. Use this kind of materials. There's all the reasons why. Why would you use us rather than somebody else?
Thanks for that comment, Eric, and hopefully things can improve, and I'm sure they will. And I know that Jim might investigate with Mike what's actually taught in training, maybe regarding the phone and the quoting process, maybe. Yeah,
I'll have a talk and I'll ask him what we actually do.
Yeah, that's a great one, Eric. Thanks for that. Let us know how Ricky goes, maybe down the track, and look at the conversion rates, as Jim said, just to compare. Now, James Halligan's gone on the other feed with a comment. Hey lads, I pulled the trigger. So James has been watching a few months, Jim. See you in December for training. Can't speak highly enough of Chris, the franchisor, and Shannon. So Chris Hansen, I presume, up in Jim's Mowing, Sydney. So he's coming down in December.
Is he?
Yeah. So hopefully,
good. Well, make sure you say hello because you'll be staying overnight. So I'll get a chance to have dinner with you.
You were here for the 6 days because obviously you have the extra course here as well.
I try and meet every franchisee personally.
You do, yeah. You get around to every table, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. But if you're only here for lunch, if you're not staying overnight, sometimes I miss out. I might see you at lunchtime and I might not. But I try and actually speak to everybody at least one time. And we do the live Q&A in front of the franchisees at training, so hopefully you can ask a question as well. Come in, you'll hear this live. It'll be in the conference centre. And ask a question and it can be as sticky as you want. There's no dramas at all. Okay, so thanks everyone for tuning in. Still watching, it's great. Got all the comments here. I'm going to run through a few now. Jared Bywaters has gone, have you heard of the Gutter Vac franchise, Jim? Yes, I have. So he has heard of that one. And then Jared Bywaters has gone, Gutter Vac takes 10%. So apparently they must be on your income or revenue, I presume. So take a percentage. They're quite a small franchise by comparison with us. And I think normally what happens if we get involved in any kind of business, we tend to swamp the opposition for all kinds of reasons. I mean, brand awareness apart from anything else. Yeah. So, why shouldn't we? It's such a great business. In actual fact, with gyms, if you did gutters, you would pay a lot less than 10% because the earnings, the fees are just standard, which is typically about $750 a month. But the actual income that you can make from clearing gutters is you're saying $1,000 a day in some you can, yeah? $1,000 a day, especially double-story gutters. You're talking with $300. It only takes about an hour. It's very, very good money. So you're paying a lot less than, if you do it properly, a lot less than 10%. It's a great opportunity there for you, Jared, and we hopefully you explore it and use Jim as much as you can to help you out. Jason Pollock's gone here. Maybe a couple of role plays in training for that.
So I don't know what they've done in the training for the
I'll ask how
idea.
they approach clients, whether there's some salesmanship thing going on. It'd be useful to do.
And Eric's gone here with some stats now. Ricky was only at about 25%, and then Eric's
that's
gone
bad.
to getting the job is 95% for me. So there's a big difference between the two. So
Eric, listen to it. What we'd always do with this, if somebody's converting that poorly, and 25% is terrible, there's something wrong with what she's saying. There's clearly something wrong, because people come to us first. We're the biggest name by far, and the expectation is they'll normally get it done. If she's only getting to see 25% of them, Eric, you should just be there while she's phoning, and you'll hear what she's saying. It's quite obvious, like this case with the trailers. As soon as we knew what was being said, we knew what people weren't getting back to us. You can tell immediately. So what are you saying? You might not even be aware of what you do, because Eric's he's a very personable.
He's a very personable fellow. That's exactly right.
He's good at dealing with people. Yeah. So you've obviously got the skills and you know what to say. So listen to what she's saying, and then you can actually very quickly pick up. Just be there for the phone call, because that's what we do. Like if you've got a franchisee who's having real trouble converting, one of the best things to do is to go out on the road with a franchisor or with an experienced operator, and then listen to what they do, and then you do it yourself, and you see the difference. And I say, okay, well, you said this, and don't do that, do that, do that. Live one-to-one coaching would be the best way to do it. And if you're married to her, well, you can certainly provide that.
That's very true, and that's some great advice from Jim. Or maybe something a bit different. You can even have Ricky record a couple of the calls and actually just listen back objectively. I know not a lot of people don't like hearing their own voice.
Yeah.
But that would be interesting as an exercise, so you can actually hear from and take yourself away.
Record the conversation, and send it to your franchisor. But you know, Eric, if you can get 95%, then you must know what you're doing. It'll be fairly obvious why she's not getting it if you listen to what's being said. Anytime I see somebody converting that poorly, you know there's something wrong with the way they're handling it. Because we've got people who do far better than that, whose English is a lot less than 100%, but they do very well.
Ricky's a lovely lady. I'm sure she can do well. It might just be maybe a confidence or something like that.
I'm staggered by that too, because dog wash is not a hard one to land, because there's so much work around, and it's a very people are very particular who washes their dog. They can have somebody clean their house or mow their lawns. Yeah, so. But you're gonna wash my baby. Well, you've got to be great.
Yeah, it's a very unique relationship, isn't it? People treat their pets better than their kids.
Yes, well, maybe they do sometimes. But they're a substitute in our family. We've got this caboodle of ours, and the girls are all, she's very little high-pitched voices. This little fluffy rag doll thing. I mean, and they're cuddling it up, and yeah.
I do love it. Yeah, it's a great.
Just like a surrogate kid.
It's a great division, and you get to work with your animals every day. So if you love dogs, please call 131-546. You can work with them every day.
They are dog lovers. I can tell you that they're a different breed. when you talk to a potential dog wash franchisee, the first question you ask: how many dogs you got? If they haven't got any dogs. Well, why not? You've really got to be a dog lover, but also because you've got to know how to handle the animal too. The person who doesn't know dogs can't manage them properly. The dogs can tell. So somebody who's just natural, really, really dog lover, it's a great job. And anybody else, it's hopeless.
But please let us know how Ricky goes, and I'm sure Ricky will improve with your help, Eric. So please let us know, and thanks for letting us know that problem. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Smash that like button, or smash that share, or put a comment or question in. I'm going to run through a few here. Goes that way. It took a while, which was great. Jared Bywaters has gone, it took me about 3 months to become confident in calling the client, because you never know who will be on the other end. However, nowadays I can tell exactly what the client will be like just by talking to him. So yeah, just an experience and confidence thing maybe. As Jared has said, he's a Jim's Mowing franchisee. I know Ricky's only early. She might be a couple of months maybe into her business, but I'm sure it's going to improve.
Biggest thing, if you can't get through, don't just leave a message on their phone. Send a text. Whenever you do anything when you can't get, send a text. Every day I read every bad survey from Jim's group every day, and I see it so often. People just don't text the clients. They say, yeah, I can save myself 30 seconds a minute, great deal, lost a job, blown $15, here's a complaint, here's a bad survey, but I've saved myself 30 seconds. How stupid is that? Send a text. Leave a quote, send a text. Email a quote, send a text. Get delayed, try and get through, send a text. And then you can prove what you've done right. And I'll always take the complaint off. And I take off a lot of complaints and poor surveys. as long as you can show you've done the right thing.
That's it. Some great advice from Jim there. Now, Jim's Pool Care franchise has tuned in and said, hey, Jim and Joel. So, hey, Jim's Pool Care franchise. Just want to know who's operating as that. Maybe Brett or Jason, let us know. Sharon Connell's gone here with some great advice. It just takes practice. When I started, I used to call my husband from another room to practice, which is that role play type of situation. And that's really, really good advice. Maybe you.
Well, I tell you what, Sharon to be an expert at anything to do with sales.
that's really true.
Sharon could sell. Well, she sells stuff she believes in, like franchises, of course. But
I reckon give that a crack, Eric. Though the simulation, I reckon, would be a good one. I reckon.
Yeah.
Just the
the great thing about being in gyms is that you've got everybody's wanting to help you. You can get it from your franchisor. You can get it from your fellow franchisees. You can get it from your division, like Sharon. You can get it from me if I'm any use at all. So there's so many people willing and wanting to help you out.
That's it. Take advantage of that and please reach out and let us know how you're going. Anita Patton's gone, yes, definitely comes down to feeling confident. Confidence is massive. A lot of people can get into a lot of high positions with not much brains, but a lot of confidence.
Yeah, right.
Exactly right. Prime example. That's exactly true. Alireza Talisi. Hi, Jim and Joel. So, hi, Alireza. I don't know if I've seen that name before on the live feed, so welcome to tuning in. And Safi's tuning in saying, great to see you back, Joel. Thanks, Safi. Appreciate that, mate. Now, Jared Baywaters has gone, whatever happened to Bayswater Welding and Fiberglass? Question mark.
Oh, it's just a different name.
Bayswater Custom Trailers is the name now.
That's right, yeah.
And they have a new logo, so it's still going, Jared. So if you do need anything for your trailer.
Don't know why they changed the name, but that's my wife's business now, so she does it a lot better than I did. I just made a loss when I was running the business. She actually makes a profit.
She always, Lee's a great businesswoman. She comes in and she can fix up a lot of things.
She's great every way.
That's true. So, Jared, if you do need anything with your trailer, Bayswater Custom Trailers, punch into Google and the details are there. And Jim's wife actually runs the factory with Mel. So
yeah, that's right. The only problem is she works so hard. I don't get to have lunch with her very often. I wanted to today, but she's off somewhere, seeing some site or something.
But you do lunch every day generally and dinner every day, don't you? You make sure you do those two meals.
No.
You don't? Not anymore?
Mostly we have dinner together.
Mostly dinner.
But lunch these days, she's too busy.
And then Lee's got a lot of business interests going on and she's a really go-getter business lady. Eric's gone here. Jake did a great job. I feel bad for him with the Who Was Better survey, but we must all love you, Joel. That was Jake's idea to do the survey, plus some of the girls and the national staff think it would go the other way. So I'm quite pleasantly surprised, and thank you for people hitting me on that survey. I was quite worried when they had that idea, but it's good to know. And Jake did a great job, and it's great to see that Jake got out of his comfort zone and gave it a crack and did really, really well. Jake's only a young man.
I think he did fine. That's right. There you are.
He's behind the camera. He did a great job, Jake. He's only a young man, Jake, at 22, so he's got a bright future, hopefully, within gyms. And all the content we do with Jim, Jake and Ben, who's not here tonight, produce it all. And they do a great job for young fellas. So.
Well, the good thing about gyms is we're always growing. We're growing dramatically, just even over the last 5 years. So there's opportunities opening up all the time.
Well, we had a question here which relates to this, so I'm going to jump in this with one right now. How many employees at National and how many departments was a question?
I don't know, we've got about 40 something.
Do you reckon it's gone up a bit, maybe 50-ish?
40, 50?
Yeah, and that's not including the
I know they are, but I can't count them.
Yeah, we always run with the number 40-ish.
We've got the national office where I am, which has got your basic IT, and then you've got your girls who are doing compliance and documents, and then you've got
divisional managers.
Divisional managers like Archie and Matt and Mark for mowing. And then you've got our lawyer comes in once a week, so she's there. Then you've got the sales department. There's about, I don't know,
8, 7-ish.
9 of those now. And there's a couple interstate just starting up, so that's growing very fast.
And interstate.
And they've got a secretary in there to look after the admin, which is good. Then you've got finance, which is
10-ish, 9?
Yeah, 10 or 12, something like that. Then you've got Gyms Plus, which has got 3, which is good. And you've got Gyms Insurance, which has also got 3. One of them is off-site. Then you've also got the programmers, and that's just a haul in there. And that doesn't count the overseas people. So
you might be looking at nearly 50 then, I reckon, if you take that onto account.
Yeah, you probably do.
Yeah.
I pay their salaries. I don't count them very often.
And then we have obviously the Melbourne contacts.
They're all working pretty hard, except for Joel, of course. You can afford to take a massive holiday in South America. He was worried you weren't going to have a job when you got back, weren't you?
I always worried about that. When people take holidays in gyms, there's a lot of things that can change. I'll come back to a lot of changes, which is no problem at all. That's the great thing about it. It always changes day to day. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, as I said to you in the past, the good things you do are the things that we never thought of doing in the first place. Not so much the jobs I gave you, as the jobs that you said, hey, but what if we do this?
That's it.
What if we have a look at our websites and how quickly they are to load and use of social media and all the kind of things that you've brought up.
We've got a lot to do. It's been a good year, and we're looking forward to doing a lot more. And got a lot of exciting stuff happening. I know with your stuff as well. There's a lot of exciting.
Well, it's amazing how things change. Actually, it's an incredibly. It seems to the rate of change seems to speed up. The stuff we're doing right now with the complaints system and the changes to that, and then Jim's jobs being finalised, which is going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
Especially when we can get it to next year, we can start doing a lot of things to help people to run a more effective business and avoid a lot of these unnecessary complaints. And then you've got Jimbo, which is going to make it better for easier for franchisors to give great support.
That's the franchisor assist app where they're going to be able to do the proactives and all that sort of stuff from there.
And then Jim's Plus is going well. We've had record weeks of just about all the time. Every second week's a record. We're pretty close to break even there. So
yeah, that's been good, hasn't it? That's definitely got there. We always knew it was going to get there, so it's proved your concept.
The only thing too, we have to start screening out some of the poor operators. Anybody's getting below 4 stars consistently really can't stay, because
you're tightening up the screws, aren't you?
Yeah. We did. We went through before anybody who was less than 3 stars, when they've had 2 or 3 surveys, just gets cut off completely. And then the ones who are below 4 stars, we've been given warning to, and they have to go to if they can't. Because the thing about Jim's Plus is that they're not franchisees. So if a franchisee gets poor service, you warn them and you warn them and you warn them and you coach them and you do everything you can. But if an independent contractor doesn't do the right thing, they might get a warning and they're off.
Yeah, there you go. No, that's a great one. We've actually probably grown a bit from probably the last year, when we've always seen set around 40 up to 50, and we have the customer contact center on site as well, which has maybe 30 or 40.
Yeah, I think about 40 people there too.
Yeah.
So there'd be close to 100 people on site right now.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Foothill staff as well. If you put them in, you probably would make it 100.
That's true. But they're all like,
wow.
They're independent.
It all started from my little pushing a lawnmower around the city.
Here you are.
But that's actually a fairly small head office when you think about it, because Jim's group as a whole is, if you added all the employees and everybody else, there must be, I don't know, thousands and thousands of people out there. So
there would be, yeah, all the employees, the subbies. There'd be, I know there's support centers. Obviously, some franchisors like Sydney have their own little support crew and stuff like that. Yes. And obviously, cleaning office, Hader.
You're lucky we were in the cleaning office the other week, and you could see that was quite elaborate. A lot of stuff going on there.
Yes,
they've got close to 1,000 franchisees in cleaning right now.
So in the scheme of things, because it's really decentralized how we operate, national probably for the size of it isn't that big, but we do have all those support networks and teams all over the place.
Well, if we had 5,000 employees, you'd need a vast organisation to run that.
That's true.
It's really quite small.
Jim's Mowing Bay of Plenty Hawks from over in New Zealand's gone. Evening men, beards for Movember. So we will hook up something for Movember, obviously synonymous with Jim's. I know back in the day when Greg Pizzolo was running it, they did the world's largest mustache mowed into the lawn at the
yeah, and then they pushed a mower across all up the east coast.
Yes, they didn't they? Yeah, they pushed it from Tassie up from up to the north. So we'll try and do something for Movember. We'll put some promotion on there, and I know Jim's agreed to grow it, but we've got to get some donations happening up for that. So we'll have to do that. That's on probably us and a few of us internally to get that working. So we'll do something there. So thanks for that suggestion. Now, Stuart Rainbow's gone with a comment here. Hi, Jim and Joel. Stuart Rainbow's our franchisor. We're actually in his office, she's there. So, hi, Jim and Joel.
He very kindly donated to us because we're running out of room. But we said you can whenever he wants a meeting, you can just come and get a room from us anyway.
He did. Hopefully we can have him on again. He's a brilliant franchisor and brand champion of Jim's. He's gone here. Hi, Jim and Joel. I was expecting you would come back with a better tan after your trip, Joel. Welcome back, mate. Yeah, my tan's gone pretty quick. It's probably my mum's Irish side, so I've got the normal skin. It didn't last too long. Jim's Pool Care franchise has gone interesting. What did you say to him? That was from Sharon. So that was in regards to Sharon talking to her husband on the phone for the mock simulation of the leads. Yes. Safi has gone here. Joel is a star and is an asset to the national office. Appreciate it, Safi. I'll give you a payment after the show. And if
anybody wants to see that last week, there's all the stuff that Safi was talking about. And in fact, it wasn't so much Ask Jim, it was Ask Safi. So
yeah,
probably people are more interested in that.
That's a pretty good one. Like if you go back and watch that for digital marketing stuff, I know that's becoming more and more for franchisors. We also have a digital marketing course for our franchisors on the franchisor website called Jim's Digital Garage. So we actually recommend, if you are a franchisor, to take that up. So I'm going to get to some questions here as well, back through the feed. Now, there's one here from Bailey Sugarman's tuning. So, hi to Bailey. I don't think we've had you on before, Bailey. So, g'day to Bailey. So, one of the questions is gone here. It's a general question. Is someone's written, what are the biggest issues for gyms? Open-ended question. What are some of the biggest issues for gyms?
Well, the issues are the same as they've always been in one sense. Like, how can we give better service to our franchisees and better service to our clients? I mean, that's the one question that never, ever, ever stops. And every day when I'm talking to franchisees and talking to clients, mostly by email, of course, and through surveys, that question comes up. And if we can look after clients better, then we can get more work and look after our franchisees better. So that's your key ongoing question. Right now, the biggest challenge is growth, because for the last year, for the first time ever in the entire history of gyms, we haven't grown. In fact, I think we went backward by 2. So
2 franchisees.
Yeah, -2, which is unprecedented. We've never ever had that happen before. So we've now got this sales team working like fury, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be.
And that's slowly working, isn't it? You've seen a trend going upwards with that.
Well, if everybody converted as well as the sales team converts, instead of having 49 people in training last training, we'd have had 120, because they're very good at getting prospects interested. We've got a great product here. We've got so much work. It's just unbelievable that we're losing 1 job in 4 because we haven't got enough people.
It's crazy, isn't it? And that's what we're trying to communicate more, that if you want to.
So we need to. The biggest challenge we're facing now is particular challenge is we've got to actually work out how to actually land and keep enough franchisees to cope with the incredible demand from the public.
Because unserviced leads are a bad thing. People think it's good, but it's a bad thing, isn't it?
Well, it's good. It's good when you want to sell a franchise, but it's pretty bad from the client's point of view, because if they ring up and 1 time in 4, they're told, you can't do it. And people write me emails and they
really annoyed.
They say, well, you're running a bad business here. Why don't you look after me? Because I'm a client and I want to spend money. Well, what am I supposed to do? But the trouble is, I can't just put workers on, because then you lose the quality of service, which makes gyms work. So it's we just encourage franchisees, and when we see a new franchisee, especially in a division like fencing, we always say, well, put some workers on. Come on, take some of these jobs we're piling up.
I remember Polizor, he watched like 8 or 9, then we kept saying, come on to fencing, and he did come a fencing franchisee in his first 2 weeks. I think it was 60 leads in his first 2 weeks.
Yeah, you've got to be careful about that. Sometimes they take so many that they get flooded with them. They're just not used to it.
It's ridiculous amount
Especially if they've been independent and they're used to work being so scarce, and suddenly you're in gyms. It's like you're floods. You've got to actually learn to control yourself, discipline yourself. We have a division, Gyms Constructions, which they're good people, but they just got absolutely flooded with the work, and they just haven't responded that well. So I just cut them off. I said, you work out what you're doing, guys. Don't neglect my clients. You can't do that. They're in business already, but they just weren't used to what gyms can do. It's just that incredible demand that comes out of it.
And that's an interesting thing you say. So independents come across and actually buy a franchise because they maybe want to forget about doing all the marketing stuff, and they just get so inundated with work, it gets out of control.
Yeah, they're just not used to it.
Yeah,
and that's not a common pattern. But and of course too, they might find it difficult too, with the fact that when they do let clients down, we come down pretty hard on them, and you get these complaints, and you get these surveys, and you get me writing them emails and stuff, and saying, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing wrong here? And people find that difficult.
And that's something I love to make more clear. It's probably more on me and the boys to make more clear. But customers, we don't just pay lip service when we say, oh, we'll deal with it. Jim actually does get involved, and there are.
I actually read the account on every bad survey that costs Jim's Group. Every bad survey that comes in, I have a look at it, look at the comment. And then I mark it as a complaint, and then I do something about it, try and get the guy to go back and fix the client if they're unhappy, in which case we'll take the complaint off.
Yeah.
If they can fix it. And just trying to figure out how we can do better. And it's kind of distressing in a way, but it's also very powerful because it's giving me ideas about changes to software and systems and stuff that can prevent it happening. And also looking at, sometimes people get unfair surveys, like this thing about when they ring the client back and they can't get through and they leave a message and they've done everything right. Well, not really, because you've got to send a text. And that's where that comes from, because we're looking at why. Or where you send an email, they get lost in spam. You've got to follow up with a text or a phone call. You can't just let it go and hope it'll get through. And
it's such a different approach for a company. I know we harp on this a bit, but the CEO of the company is the one who's actually controlled the complaints. He's the only one who can remove a complaint. I don't know how many other companies, let's say a bank, for example, their CEO would read any customer complaints, I'd say be nil.
Look, I would guarantee that you have franchise systems that are a tenth our size where the CEO doesn't get involved with complaints the way I do. But I find it very, very useful to work at the ground floor. I want to talk to my franchisees and know what's going on and find out problems, and I want to deal with customer issues and stuff.
Yeah.
And most of them do very well, actually. I don't read the 5-star service. I wouldn't have time because there's so many of them. But the ones that have got issues, I want to look at and see, okay, how can we fix this?
And
we'll make some changes. I reckon we can cut out genuine customer service problems down by at least 50% with the right feedback. one of the things I'm looking at is being personally the coach. In other words, if a franchisee gets I haven't discussed this with the franchisors yet, but if a franchisee gets a problem, they have to actually do something about it. They have to make contact. And what the one thing to do is get them to come to me and then either tell me why they think the complaint is unfair, and then I'll take it off, which I do. I do multiple times a day. If they can show me they've done the right thing, hey, here's the phone call, here's the text, or, here's the quote that I did for the job and I did what was expected and the client agrees with that and so forth. So, or somebody inspects it, like the franchisor goes and has a look and says, no, the job was good, the client was unreasonable, he did what was in the quote, so we'll take it off. So I do that. But if it comes to an issue like they didn't call back or they didn't turn up, why not? What happened? What are you going to do about it in the future? I want to be able to personally coach them. And if they keep on doing this, we can't keep on giving them jobs. They've got to look after our clients. And if you can't look after the clients because you're too busy, well, don't take so many. Take one a day instead of 5 a day.
So there you go. You've heard it here first. I'm sure that's going to be fleshed out, I presume, in a newsletter or two. But that's why you should tune in to Ask Jim every week, because you hear stuff like this, which is a new development in Jim. So
Yes.
You've heard it here first. So that's the reason to tune in. So Sal John's gone with a great question here. I don't think we've had this one. Jim, when are you going to start making business seminars? I think you should look into that. So when are you going to start making business seminars? So I know you do keynote speaking. We do have a lot of content on YouTube with some business advice snippets, but a business seminar.
No, I don't mind. I mean, it's not so much about speaking, it's a matter of organising it and promoting it and getting people interested in it.
I have had an idea to do, Sal, a one-on-one, like a business webinar with Jim to put into like a funnel for when people inquire about a franchise, and maybe just have an hour with Jim talking about various things of business maybe. But
I'd love to run a business training course. Just the basics of business. I think it'd be good. I mean, also potentially a recruitment tool for our franchises.
Now, when you say, would you do that in person, or would that be like a video thing you'd want to do?
No, in person. Why
in
not?
Person, all right.
They can come here.
There you go.
And people kind of get a bit overawed by speaking to me sometimes. It's really strange, but I'm really...
I've seen it in action at the franchising expo.
I'm not that special. It's funny when you get this kind of...
I remember seeing it at the franchising expo with you when people just couldn't believe it was you. And they were trying to recognise...
Yeah, I know. They see this guy who's got his face on 4,000, 5,000 trailers and vans and stuff, and he's just someone you go and talk to. So, I don't know why people protect themselves so much from the public. I don't see the value. I see there's so much value in just being approachable. I mean, I don't give my phone number out to my franchisees. If they give it to anybody else, they're in trouble. But as far as my email address is concerned, jim@jims.net. If somebody's watching this and they're not a Jim's person, just email me. If you've got a query or anything like that, I'll respond. If you want to, sell me some marketing or something, you'll probably get about a 2-line response.
Yeah,
no thanks.
Don't do that.
It takes me 5 seconds to do it, so it's not an issue.
That's true. And Sal, I think you're a plumber, Sal. I think you're a plumber. So, but yeah, that's a great idea. Business seminar. We can try and do something, maybe more video series or something like that with some advice. But a seminar in person would be awesome if you could maybe organise it.
Well, not me. You can organise it.
There we go. I've got to give me some work, Sal.
I don't sound the best person to do these things. I'm
writing it down. I'm writing it down, Sal.
I could do a bit of the face.
I think a business seminar like open night, they can come and just chat to you. Would be cool. It's obviously a tool as well.
We could put on a business dinner here, for example.
That's true, actually.
And feed them as well. And dinner with Jim talking about business and stuff. And
I'm writing it down as we talk, as we actually ask now, Sal. So we'll follow up with something like that, I guess, and we'll put an announcement on the page. And if you're based in Vic, I'm sure we'll record the talk maybe that you would do that, something like that.
In our institute, the Institute for Social Neuroscience, we do all sorts of psychology courses. One's sports science, which is just about to start up, and there's all kinds of other ones that's going on. So I reckon the psychology of business would be a great course to do. Very practical, because most of business is psychology. It's a lot more to do with with attitude and
character
that has to do with things like being able to do, spreadsheet calculations and business plans. I'm not saying business plans are a great idea, but you don't usually succeed because of a great business plan. You succeed because you've got a great character.
And that's a great comment, Sal. You've given us an idea, so we'll have to run with that. And Bailey's gone here. I'm interested in a franchise, but can't afford the equipment. But can't afford to have equipment for gardening, e.g., the trailer and ride-on. So the franchise fee, obviously financing that's always a bit of trouble. So I don't know what can be done. Maybe 131546, so you can talk to the regional franchise. I know some of them do vendor finance as an option.
Yeah, well, look, we've got a couple of regions, and we'll if you're a good candidate, and if you've been in business for yourself, that's a plus. But if you're a good candidate, we can usually arrange some sort of vendor finance and stuff.
So Bailey, please do an inquiry 131546 or Jims.net. And as Jim said, the
actual fixed costs are obviously the equipment and signage and things, which that's not that much. But the training, if you've got a mowing business film, it's going to cost you, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000 for your training and accommodation and those kind of things if you don't live in Melbourne. So there are some costs you can't avoid, but generally speaking, if it's a good candidate, we'll work out some way of getting you in.
That's true. So Jared Bywaters has gone. He does a brilliant job. One thing I've noticed is since Jim's Live came about on air is how many more people are talking about Jim's. Jim's memeing is helping a lot too. Yeah. Yes, Jim's memeing do help us a lot. We ran a competition, and that's awesome to hear that, Jared, from a franchise owner. It's great it's hard to sort of track these things, but that's awesome. If you're noticing that out there, that's awesome. Aaron Colson's asked a tough question here. I want to get this one real quickly. With growth being an ongoing concern, do you sacrifice that for longevity and quality, or bolster the numbers to create a facade?
Well, obviously, Aaron, you've done franchisor training, so you jolly well know how that works. One of the strongest, I spend like an hour and a half at the beginning of franchisor training talking about selection. We hit that hard. Why you should knock people back, all the different ways of you knock them back, what do you look for in a franchisee. In actual fact, if you want growth, the one thing you've got to be is selective, because franchisees who are not good, who you take on that you've got doubts about, actually end up costing you in all kinds of ways. They undermine customer service, so they get you less work, so franchisees are less happy. They make other franchisees negative. They put off prospective franchisees, because any sensible person a competent person will ring other franchisees and ask them what system is like. And if you ring somebody who says the whole system is useless, then you've got a problem. So it's quite the opposite of anything. In fact, one of the things we're doing right now is I've actually engaged a guy with a background in psychometrics, personality testing, and he's actually been interviewing franchisees. And I just today sent him a list of all the franchisees who failed over the last 2 years, particularly those who failed, who were terminated or walked away. So really failed, not those who been successful, but those who left fairly quickly. And I want to find out what's the difference between them and the ones that succeed. And he's going to actually come up with a series of questions. So we're going to have an extra screening process to try and avoid taking people who are likely to fail.
And hopefully bring that failure rate down, obviously, from that 11% down to a lot less.
Yeah, because growth is not a matter of taking people on. It's a matter of taking people on more than you lose. And if you're losing people faster than you're taking them on, you're going to go down.
You've got to keep them in the back end. You've got to make sure they stay around for a long time.
Yeah. So, but I think actually accepting decline is really not sensible. And it's not as though, we go back to we do things like we go to the backlist, people who've inquired in the past, and we ring those people and talk to them about it. We've had some fantastic franchisees who've inquired in the backlist, weren't impressed with the approach. They got rung by somebody from our sales team and had a much better response, and they've come in and they've been absolutely brilliant. There was nothing wrong with them. I mean, sometimes franchisors can be very slack. They can just sort of say, ring the person, conversation, mail them some printout thing, and just leave it at that. If they're interested, they'll come back.
Yeah, well, it can be hard to keep that motivation. Let's say there's a 10, 15-year franchisor, they might just think, oh, here's another thing. But I can understand that from their point of view.
Yeah. But you look at people who are very good at what they do, and great sales and great support come together. There's not an alternative. It's not that you're going to grow or you're going to have good people. In fact, yeah, we certainly have not seen any loss of quality. In fact, the sales team have very strict instructions about who they take on. And I know quite well they knock people back if they don't think they're appropriate.
Well, an interesting one here is Test and Tag has the lowest attrition rate, but they have a really rigorous screening process. I know from their training course, they actually will stop people halfway through it.
They're the most rigorous selection system of any division, and have also been one of the most successful. In fact, I think they're third biggest besides mowing and cleaning. So they're not. Growth and quality of franchisees is not in opposition to the same thing. You've got to do both, and that's one of the big differences with gyms from the beginning.
Yes.
Compared with competitors, I was determined to be selective. And I actually thought that would probably slow my growth, but it's actually had the opposite effect, because people want to be part of a great organization. They want lots of work, great franchisees, great customer service. Lots and lots of work keeps franchisees happy. It all goes together. You can't compromise. Putting the wrong people on
causes a lot of issues as well for franchisor. So Sal John's here gone, there's a lot of clowns all around Australia thinking they don't know how to run a business and run seminars. I'm sure there is a lot of people who just make a business out of telling other people how to run a business, which is their business.
I'm a bit better known than most, I suppose, so if you look at the logo. So.
That's true, but that's a great idea, Sam. We're gonna try and do something. If you're in Victoria, hopefully you can come along. Bailey's gone, you think I have to might pass? Don't pass, Bailey. Just call 131 546 or gyms.net. Have a chat. I think you're up in Brisbane there. So have a chat to the Zor, they can work something out. And Charlie Jackson here has gone, shirts.
It does depend a bit on your own situation.
That's true, they're all different.
We have people who are inquiring about franchises who are on Centrelink and have got no money at all and no assets of any kind.
It's a little bit difficult.
You've got to have a few $1,000s. I mean, but a mowing franchise with equipment could set you up for it could cost you $25,000, 20 whatever. But if you've got a good operator and you've got say $8,000 or $10,000, we can usually do something for you. It's that
everyone's
kind
different.
Of level.
Yeah, so maybe give a call so they can actually talk about your circumstances in private as well. It's anonymous and they can maybe help you out. And Charlie Jackson's gone, his shirts for 10, 15 and 20 year franchisees. That's a very pointed question from Charlie Jackson. So shirts coming out for 10, 15 and 20 year franchisees?
They are being done.
They are being done?
This is yours, isn't it?
Okay, I think is this for me? Okay, well Charlie, I know they're being done. I know there's been some patches and going back and forth with Lods, so
we've certainly got patches being done.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not too far away, but yes, there will be shirts for franchisees. I mean, yes, Sal John's saying we do have Jim's Finance. Maybe give Jim's Finance a call as well, see what happened. This will be the last question before. Patrick Butler's gone, hi guys, quick one about the Jim's Online app coming out soon. Will we be able to put our work status in likely same day service from the app? Looking forward to it coming down.
You're talking about Jim's Jobs, I presume, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the idea is that it'll all be linked together. So you just got the one thing on your phone and you can actually ask for work through that.
Because generally they have to go on a desktop and do it for Jim's Online, right, and update their work.
Yeah, you want to be able to set it on the thing itself. We've got a lot of plans for this Jim's Jobs thing. We might even change the name to something a bit more generic than Jim's.
That's true, actually.
So it can go to independents as well, but for a charge, of course, not for our guys. That's correct.
Yeah.
But
so the answer is yes, you can do it.
Yeah. I mean, we're spending currently several $100,000s a year developing this, and we don't intend to slow the pace of development. It's just going to get better and better.
I think once it gets done and released, there's a mobile app, especially, Patrick, I can imagine all the, what about this? That's what you're going to be. I know there's all these ideas you've been throwing at the team, and that's what they have to put in there.
Yes. every week that goes by, they sort of do this much, and I give them this much more to do.
That's true.
That's what tends to happen.
Yeah, I've been in those meetings, and Jim just starts having these ideas, and they got to write down real quickly and make sure they get them done and go in the pipeline. So, thanks for that one, Patrick. So we had a lot of great questions and comments tonight with the Just Ask Jim special. So next week we'll have a guest on. Every second week we're going to try it just do with Jim. So
who's coming next week? Who we got?
I don't know. We're going to have to work someone out. Maybe if you've got any suggestions, put them in the comments. I'm happy to have anyone on who can get out to here into Mooroolbark in Victoria. So maybe someone a bit different. I don't know. Who can be whoever, I guess. So put them in the comments or questions, or email me at video@gyms.net and with your suggestions. Now the books. Did you make any notes or some questions or comments that you liked in particular for the books? I've got some names here that I wrote down. I love Jared because Jared just went bang with like 6 or 7 questions, which was good. So
who was talking? There was somebody suggested we said we're going to do that. What was that?
We're going to do what with which one?
We said we're actually going to look at it. We're going to do it.
Oh, that was Sal. That was the business seminar one. So Sal's he's not a part of the Jim's family. I think he's got a plumbing business. So Sal's the one. Sal John, he tunes in every week.
I like the business seminar. But there was some other suggestion. We said, yeah, we'll look at that during the week. What was it?
Oh, the from Eric about the calls, about the training with the phone calls for the how they talk to a customer for quoting. So the suggestions were the quoting business seminar.
The person who asked about my research, actually,
I wrote him down. Don't worry, I wrote that one down.
If you'd like a copy by history, happy to get. It's got it all in there.
Okay, so Michael Ribbons, we're going to give you the biohistory one. Jared Bywater's gone here saying Dan Cahill should go again. Yes, do you remember Dan Cahill, the guy who was the young man who was 18 months and turning over an obscene amount of money? Yes, Dan should come on again, but I'm sure we'll get him down maybe 2 years into business, I reckon, or we'll see how we go.
He was great. Yeah, I can't imagine where he's going to be in a couple of years' time.
So I reckon we give him to Michael, Jared as well for the gutter stuff. Jared asked a lot of questions about that, which is great. And Sal for the business seminar idea.
All right.
Good. So they're the three. I'll DM you guys and let us know what book you want, and we can give you one. Doesn't have to be just limited to what we've got there.
Make a choice.
Okay, and remember, guys, we've got the thanks to Jim's promotion advertising call out running at the moment. Please give us something. We've had a couple already left on the live feed, which is great tonight. Maybe send us a photo or video accompanying that, and we can post that. I think it's great just to share the great lifestyle that people are getting now from running their own business with gyms. And it's awesome to have you involved and share your stories, and we appreciate people who've given it already. And the poll ran tonight, so I thank you for the poll results. That's very flattering. And
what's the poll saying?
29% Jake, 71% for me. But I'll pay all those 71% of people later after the show with something, or give them
poor Jake.
Some voucher.
He didn't do too bad.
No, I'm sure Jake done a great job. I watched him, and Jake's really, really good. So, but I'll pay all those 71% of people after the show, and appreciate that. Next week, same time, more questions for Ask Jim. So if you've got any during the week, make sure you leave them. We're doing a podcast as well. We're going to record some podcasts as well. We're going to talk about civilization, your favourite period in history.
Yeah, best ever period in the whole of history.
And talk about your fitness as well, which is quite.
Talk about fitness.
We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. So there's going to be video versions of the podcast. We've had some great feedback, especially from Derek during the week on the Jim's cast, and we really do appreciate it. If you do like the Jim's class, please share anything we do. It helps get the message about Jim out, and it does help with leads, because the more about Jim, the brand we get out there, we want to make him rival Janine Ellis of Boost Juice and Mark Burris. That's what I want to do. I want to have him in the same space, because I think Jim is just as knowledgeable, probably a lot more than him actually, and he's got great messages to get out there. So
I'm not as photogenic as she is.
Oh, you can. Don't worry, you can be, Jim. Don't worry, you've taken some great photos. But thanks for everyone for tuning in and all those questions and comment. That was awesome. Same time next week at 7 o'clock, and we hope to see you then. Thanks again.
All right, see you later.